Hi all, happy Friday. Looking forward to our last lesson this week, which is mental addition and subtraction. So mental addition and subtraction means that you shouldn't use the column method. It should be that you can do it in your head. Now we've been doing that all week. I've been doing it all week. You may have been using paper, and that is fine. But sometimes you might not have a piece of paper with you. You might be somewhere out and about. You might not get the chance to write it down. So it's a really good skill to have to develop your mental addition and subtraction. So adding 3-digit numbers is just like counting up in ones. 881 plus 2. All you have to change is the ones. So 881, 882, 883. The 880 doesn't change, it's only the ones that changes. 418 plus 5. We can count up on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? Or 418, 419, 420, 421, 422, 423. So here it says you could add on 2 to get to 420 and then add on 3. So we add on 2 to get to 420 and then add on 3. We know it's 423. So this is the same. Let's move on to the next question. Subtracting is just like that, counting backwards in ones. 929, we would start here and we would jump back 2. Count back to 927. See that the 987 has changed, but the tens and the ones have remained the same. Sorry, not the tens, the ones, the hundreds and the tens have remained the same. So we start at 729, 728, 727. 254, 253, 252, 251. I think you understand the idea. It's the ones that change, not the tens and not the ones. Not the ones that change and not the tens and not the hundreds. Getting my hundreds of ones very mixed up today, Miss Bonetto. So here we're completing the missing number problems. All we have to do is add up to the next number. So 709 plus 1 would be 710. And then we've got to get to 716. That would be adding 6. So on our number line, you might see a 1 and then a 6. And we know 1 plus 6 equals 7. Okay. 386 plus something equals 394. You could do this on your, you can do this saying it out loud and on your fingers. 386, 387, 388, 389, 390, 391, 392, 393, 394, 8. Or you could have added 4 to get to 390 and then another 4 to get to 394. And we know 4 plus 4 is 8. So these ones are slightly different because you're looking for the missing number, not the answer. Same here, but you're looking for, we've got to work out by subtracting the addition to the answer. And the reason why is because if we counted 8, if we counted on from 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, I think it would take a long time to get to 112. So remember, the inverse law means that we can do a subtraction to get the same answer. So 112 subtract 8. You could count back on your fingers, or we could take off 2 to get to 110, and then another 6 to get to 104. Here we're just taking off 3. So 754, 4, 3, 2, 1, 751. Here we're looking for a subtraction. We need to know how much the difference is between 623 and 616. I'm going to do this as an addition to find the missing number. 616 add something equals 623 due to the inverse law. So 616, I'm going to add on 4 to get to 620, and then I'm going to add on 3 to get to 623. We know 4 plus 3 is 4, 5, 6, 7. Same thing here. I'm going to add on from 493 to get to 499, and then I'll know how much has been taken off. So 493 add 6 would equal 499, and I used my 3 times tables to be able to know that, because I know that 3 times 2 is 6, and then 3 times 3 is 9. So 3, 6, 9, and I know the difference between those numbers. Here, again, we're adding these two numbers together to find our missing number. 603 add 7 is 610. We could work backwards on this one. Well, for all of them, you could then look back and think 610 take away 7 is 603. You could do you change it to the inverse, and then you could go back and do the subtraction to check. Something to take away 4 equals 793. So I know that I have to add 4 to 793, and 4 plus 3 is 4, 5, 6, 7. So therefore it's 797. Let's see if Miss Maletta got them all right. So you remember that we can split any number into separate place values, okay? So you should be able to tell me what the 7 represents, what the 2 represents, and what the 3 represents. Shout it out to the screen now. 720 and 3. 380 and 9. Every single number will show this representation. If you were asked to do 826, find out what happens. Oh, let's have a look at the program. Ignore my speech. So if you look at 287 plus 20, count on 20 from 287. 297. Oh, can I do 210/7? No, it must move into the hundreds column. So it must be 307. What about 895 plus 40? And we know that 90 plus 40 will go into the hundreds. 90 plus 40 is 30. So I know 13. So or 130. So I know that it will be 935. Let's move on. So what's the missing values here? We know they're going to be tens. Now I'm going to do this column here, and you can do that column where my mouse is now on your own if you pause the screen. So let's go through this column first. 733 plus something equals 753. 733, 743, 753. I know I've added on 20. Here I'm going to I'm going to work backwards. I'm going to subtract 40 from 687 to get my answer. 687, 677, 667, 657, 647. Here, I'm going to add on tens until I get to 538. The other way around, sorry, I'm going to add on tens until I get to 628. So 538, 548, 558, 568, 578, 588, 598, 608, 618, 628, and I've counted on my fingers that the difference is 90. So we subtracted 90 from 628, we get 638. Here I'm going to do this the same. I'm going to add on. I'm going to add on 30 to know the difference. It's not the same because this one, remember, a subtraction, you can't use commutative law. So I apologise, it's not the same. 675, 685, 695, 695. And we can work that out again backwards by going 695, 685, 675, 665. Have I got the right answer? No, because I've worked it backwards. I've checked my answer and I've got to 665, but that's not the answer here. So I must have missed off a 10. So 705. Try these ones on your own. So find out what happens to the numbers when you increase the number in steps of 100. So this, the hundreds are changing, but the ones are not. So here, we know the 62 is going to stay the same, but 4 is going to be added to the 200. 200 and 400 is 600, 662. Oh, I'm not typing. Here, we know that the 0 and the 4 are going to stay the same. The 10s and the 1s are staying the same, but we've got 300 to be added to the 100. Here, we can change it by adding it like this. 300, because we're adding the 100s, would be 404. So again, we've got 118, we're adding on 500, so we need to change this number 5 times. So we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we know it's 618. I didn't notice that when I was going through lesson on my own, so that's good that you can use this to help you if you want to. I'll do one more. This time we're going to take away. So I can see that it's on 700 now, and we need to take away 500. The 30 and the 9 won't change. So we can count back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I should go 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 because I'm not taking off 5, I'm taking off 500. And now we're left with 239. So these number things are actually really useful to help you. Try the rest on your own in the lesson if you want to. So I'm going to again do this column and then you're going to do the next column. 342 plus something equals 742. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, adding on 400. Okay, I counted on my fingers. It's quite hard when you can't see the screen, but yes. So this would be 575. I'm going to do the inverse, take away 500. Now 575, but we took away the 500, we wouldn't have any 100s left, we wouldn't have any hundreds left, so we'd only have 75. 684, take away something, equals 84. Now I know that this has 600s, this one doesn't have any hundreds, so I know that they must have taken off 600. Something take away 600 equals 167. Here, we need to add these two numbers together to get our answer. So I know that the 67 won't change because it's 0 and 0 here, but 6 and 1 is 7, so it'd be 767. And I can work that back again, taking off 600 to get my answer, and this time I haven't got it wrong. So here we're just breaking it down. 216 plus 1 would be 217. We know that the ones are changes. This one, it will be the tens that changes. But remember the ones, it won't be a 7, it will be a 6. So it will be the tens changing, but the 2 and the 6 will stay the same. So it will be 226. And this one we're adding on 100. So the 1 and the 6 will stay the same, but the 2 and the 1 will be added to make 316. Okay. For 10 answers, there's no time limit. You can try this on your own, okay? See how many you can get right. And then, again, as always, beat the clock. Really good way to practice your mental maths skills. Hope you have a lovely weekend and half term. Next week is half term, so there won't be any lessons for you. We'll see you on the 1st of June.